Hi there, it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a full face of Sisley makeup. It's been a while since I've played with this brand exclusively for you guys, so I wanted to get into some iconic products from the brand and get into the products that I think are overhyped and just really didn't work for me. So I think this video will be helpful to you. Some of these products are newer, but most of them are classics from the brand. So let's get into it. I just want to note there are a few key makeup categories that I don't have product from Sisley. That includes primer, setting powder, and brows. I don't have products from this brand, so I'm going to be using those products off camera, and they'll be from other brands. But I want to note that I have tried the Double Tensor primer from Sisley. It's a very tacky primer, but it's super expensive. And it's a little bit more tacky than I'm used to working with, but it is, I think like $140. I'm not really sure. The primer that I use is also expensive from Victoria Beckham, but I like that it's more like a moisturizer and it's not quite as tacky. So that's the primer I'll be using. Complexion wise, I have the Sisleya Le Tint Anti-Aging Foundation, and I have the shade 0.R Vanilla. And for concealer slash brightening, I have the Stylo Lumiere pen in shade 1. And then I have the Blur Expert blurring powder, the Phyto-Touche Sun Glow bronzing gel powder, and the Phyto blush in the shade Golden Rose. That's what I'm using today. And then I have a couple of eye products, lip products, but we'll get into what I'll be using a little bit later. So I'm using the anti-aging Sisleya foundation. Sisleya is like their anti-aging skincare line. So this is a skincare base foundation. It is oil-free. 1 ounce, 30 mils. Guy has beautiful packaging. I'm going to use a couple pumps here, 3 pumps, just to get us started. Now, I have commented on this foundation in the past. I think I said that I didn't love the finish, is what I remember from using it a few times, that I didn't think it was worth over $100 price tag, because I love that it has skincare benefits, but I don't think I necessarily love the way it looked on my skin. So I'm using a damp sponge on top of primer. It is very fragranced. Most luxury makeup foundations, they are heavily fragranced. It's a very clean, powdery smell, but it is a bit overwhelming. I do really love Sisley's skincare. I've tried a couple full-size products, but mostly a lot of samples of their skincare, and it's wonderful. It smells good, it feels good. I wish I had all the money in the world to kind of buy everything Sisley skincare, because to me, their stuff is just really nice. A lot of their makeup's really nice too, but I think their skincare really hits it out of the park. So I'm just patting this on. I'm using all 3 pumps of foundation. Now, if I were to use a brush with my fingers, I probably wouldn't need to use quite as much, but with the damp sponge, it absorbs a lot of product. But my skin tends to look nicer with the sponge. So just tapping this in here. I think it gives a good medium coverage. You can still see blemishes coming out underneath my skin. It has been a while since I've used this foundation, and right now it doesn't look bad. It's not super perfected around my nose. When I smell my sponge, it's very strong scent. Yeah, I think the finish of this foundation is just okay. It doesn't stand out to me as being like super amazing. What stands out to me the most, my problem areas aren't completely perfect. They look decent. This area looks decent. It kind of feels almost like a tinted moisturizer. It does kind of feel lotiony. This foundation's a little bit thicker. So if you appreciate a foundation with a lot of skincare benefits, I think you may like this, but in terms of like makeup performance, I think the makeup performance is just okay. Moving on to the Stylo Lumiere. I have to say the sponge tip fell apart on me after a few months, and I'm sure, yeah, this is over 6 months old, which technically this is expired. But the little sponge tip applicator just disintegrated. So this is like a click or a twist pen. So you twist and product comes out. So I'm just gonna put this on my dirty palette here and use a sponge to apply this because it doesn't quite work how it's supposed to. But this is technically a brightening pen. It's not like a color corrector, but more for like the YSL Tucci clock, kind of same idea. Just brighten things up in certain areas. I'm gonna kind of use it like a concealer because I don't have their Sisley's famous concealer. It's something I've been meaning to pick up, but the shade range isn't huge and it looks a little bit scary, a little bit thick. So I'm a little bit worried about using the concealer, but I've heard really good things, and it's definitely more coverage than this, which is pretty much zero coverage. That's okay. I'm okay with going with like a light coverage with the eyes. I think this product is kind of overrated. I wouldn't pick it up again. I don't think it slightly brightens. I don't think it does enough to justify really using it, at least on me. All right, so now my next step is getting into powders. I'm gonna go ahead and set my face with a powder from a different brand. All right, so I set my face with a translucent powder. Now I'm going into the Blur powder. This is the Blur Expert. There's only one shade of this, and I kind of hate that about this product. I do think it is a really finely milled, soft texture, but it's too dark for me, so I don't really like using it that much. Now, I have heard people have really good luck using this powder as a primer and putting it on before their foundation. I've done that. I don't really love it. I didn't see the magic happening to my skin when I did that. So I just don't really get it. I prefer other finishing powders to this one. But the biggest thing for me is the color match. Like, I know you're not supposed to use like tons of powder to finish your face, but this definitely makes my skin look darker. I do think it does a good job of blurring, but the color really kills it for me. So this is one of those overhyped products, in my opinion, that doesn't really work for me, and I imagine that the color doesn't work for a lot of people. But you guys can let me know in the comments how you get this Blur powder to work on fair skin. Please let me know. All right, onto blush. No, onto bronzer, sorry. Phyto-Touche, this is the Sun Glow Bronzing Gel Powder. This comes in only one shade, and this is a fairly glowy bronzer. You can see it has a good amount of sheen to it. I think this is one of the prettiest bronzer colors in my collection. I don't know if this is considered like a classic iconic Sisley product, but I think it should be. I think it's, I don't know. I don't know if people know about it or are into it or seek it out, but it's a very expensive bronzer, so I can see why people don't want to buy it. but it's one of those baked gelée. I think this bronzer would last you a long time. One of those investment makeup pieces. But it gives you a really pretty glow, and if you don't like super matte bronzers, this gives you a really pretty glow and sheen all year long, and just really warms up the complexion. On to some powder blush. Now Sisley has some blush sticks, some cream blushes, which I have not tried, but these are pretty new, I believe, as of last year, 2021. These are the Phyto blushes. This is the shade 4 Golden Rose. It's a shimmery peachy pink. It has a lot of gold reflect to it. It's not a totally unique shade. It does have a lot of shimmer to it. But it's one of those like really soft and buttery to the touch blushes. I think it's pretty. Do I think it's totally necessary? No, I think you can get something similar for less money. I don't know that this formula is that different. But the packaging, super cute. Zebra, really like it. Okay, so that's it for the complexion. I'm going to move over to the eyes and lips now, but before I do that, I'm gonna throw on some brows. This is Tom Ford, not Sisley. Sisley does have, I believe, a brow gel and pencil, but I have not picked those up. So in terms of eye products, I don't have too much. I have this one single eyeshadow. This is the Phyto Ombres Sparkling Topaz number 14. This is a taupe eyeshadow single. I have the Phyto Kohl Perfect Eyeliner in the shade Deep Jungle. And I have the So Stretch number 1 mascara, and that's it for the eyes. So it's going to be a very simple eye look. Okay, so first, quick swatch of this eyeshadow. I think this is, first of all, the embossing is really pretty. This is a deeper taupe, kind of sparkly bronze shade. It is a one and done eyeshadow. I like the formula, it's nice, but the cost of this one eyeshadow I don't really think is worth it. Unless you're like a big fan of single eyeshadows, you like using a lot of different colors, you don't like palettes, this might be worth it to you, but I don't think the formula is that like super spectacular. Like the shade is pretty enough. I think this is one of their more popular shades, but for me, on my skin, this is a little bit deep for a one and done eyeshadow. Like I would want to pair it with something a little bit lighter. But you'll see it on my eyes today what it's like. I do enjoy a good taupe bronzy kind of shade, so it is pretty enough, right? But is it worth the, I don't know, over $40 price tag? I believe I don't think so. I think we can all find a shade close to this in our collections already. But you know, they do have a variety of different finishes and shades in these Phyto Ombres eyeshadows. I kind of wish they just came out with some palettes, you know? All right, so I'm taking this on the lid, natural hair brush, no primer. Just gonna sweep it on, nothing too complicated here. So you can see it gives my eye some depth. It's got a pretty reflective finish, very classic eyeshadow shade. So if you wanted to pick something that's really, you know, would go well with a lot of different looks, a lot of outfits, kind of a universal brown shade, and you don't mind a little bit of, you know, reflection and sheen, I think this color makes sense picking up, but it is a little bit deep for, like, I would prefer it be a little bit lighter, maybe a tiny bit warmer. I don't know. I think it's just hard to do these shades on me by themselves on their own, but you know, it's still pretty enough, right? So I'm going to take the same shade underneath the eye. So taking the eyeliner Deep Jungle, I'll go ahead and sharpen this up and do a little swatch. This is a pretty typical pencil. I wouldn't say I was super impressed when I tried this out because I feel like, you know, it's a pigmented pencil. It's a little dry. It's not a gel formula. You know, it does a good job. The other side, you have a little blending rubber tool in the end here, a little sponge that you can blend out. It does have like slight of a gold shimmer to the shade, which is kind of nice, but otherwise I don't know that this pencil is that special to justify the price. But I'm going to use both hands here. I'm not quite used to using these hard pencils like this. It's a little bit of a stiff pencil to get used to, almost like I'm literally applying a pencil to my eyes. It's very pointy and hard. But it is a very classic kind of a pencil, I suppose. I don't know. I guess for a Kohl pencil, I'm used to something a bit softer and smudgier, like more easy. A formula that's just easier to smudge is what I'm trying to say. So I wouldn't pick up another one of these, but you know, I got to try it out. So onto this mascara. This is the So Stretch. They have a few different formulas. This is the wand. It's a very pointy, I think, classic type of wand. Now, I always like to look for length. I also appreciate some volume, but this one focuses on length, and I feel like this doesn't really deliver for me. For the price, I think this is not worth picking up. Unfortunately, I haven't used this in a while. It's probably about time to go, but I thought I would, you know, this would be on the list. I don't know that their mascaras are really hyped that much, but I think it can be tempting to pick up a fancy mascara once in a while, add it to your cart. I certainly don't think this formula, the So Stretch, is that worth it. Like, while yes, my lashes compared to this side look longer, but they're not that long. Now, I have very short lashes, so I don't have like the best base to work with. I think this is probably similar to the Lancome Definicolis mascara, very similar. But that one is probably half the price of this. All right, guys, on to lips. I'm liking the look so far. This is a very me type of look. So I have a couple of eyeliners and lip liners and lip products. So I have the Phyto-Touche Perfect Nude Lip Liner and the Rose Lip Liner. I have used the nude one several times in many videos. I actually really think this formula is fantastic. It's soft without being too soft. It's like the perfect consistency, and that's why I picked up another shade. The nude is very brown. I would prefer like more of a pinky nude, kind of like the Pillow Talk shade. I love the shade of that, but I like this formula more. This rose, I don't know that this color I really love, and I don't know that it really works with that many of my lip colors in my collection, but it is a pretty color. I think it's a little bit of a warm rose. But I will try one of these today with these lip products. But I really like the formula, and this brush is a mess, but it does come with a lip brush on the other side, which is really nice. But if you try a lot of lip liners, you'll notice a difference with this one right away, that it's just really smooth. So I do think the lip liner is well worth it. So I have a couple of lip formulas here. I have the Phyto-Touche Rouge lipstick. I have the shade 20 Rose Portofino. This is a really interesting shade here. It's rosy, but also like kind of cool. So I like that shade. I also have a sample of the Phyto Lip Twist in number 1. I don't love this shade. It's a little bit too nude for me, but I like the glossy finish to it, and it has a little bit of shimmer hidden in the formula. So this is a cool concept. I haven't picked up another one to try another shade, but it does have a pretty sheen to it, and it's got this cool twist up feature, which is fun, and it has the zebra packaging. This is the latest product I picked up from Sisley. Oh, it's so good. This is the Phyto Rouge Shine. I have the shade 22 Sheer Raspberry. I want to pick up more, but they keep going out of stock. This guy is very close to the Chanel Rouge Cocoa Flashes, but the pigment on here I think might be a little bit better. Depends on the shade that you get. This one can get really bright if you layer it up. You can do a sheer moment, but it gives you a lot of color, and the shine is beautiful. It feels really good. Now, it doesn't last. It's not like a long-lasting lipstick or lip gloss. So it's not going to last forever, but they're super pretty and super comfortable. So that's what we have to work with. I think I want to try today the Rose lip liner with the Sheer Raspberry Phyto Rouge Shine. Phyto Rouge Shine. I cannot get with these names. So here we are. I have some foundation on my lip. So you can see like how deep this is, how unexpectedly deep and richly red. So I find that if this can only go with certain colors, it's not that universal kind of color like the nude, but this is a little bit too brown. So I need to find a good in-between shade. So yeah, I think this lip liner does not really go because this is a more warm toned rose. Versus the Sheer Raspberry is a more on the pink side, but it does add a little bit of an extra dimension there with this look. I mean, it's kind of pretty, that lip liner with this Sheer Raspberry, so you guys can see how much pigment you get off that juicy lipstick. It's quite stunning. It's quite a stunning formula. If you guys are hesitating on the lip shines, do not. Pick one up, try one, and then you'll see what the formula is like. You can get a nude shade. You don't have to go this deep, but I love it. And it's got this like vanilla sweet scent. It's really nice. So here is our final look, full face of Sisley. This brand, I went through all the products that I put on. I mentioned my favorites, ones that I think are overhyped or not worth the money. At the end of the day, this is a really pretty makeup look that I put together rather quickly with not that many products, at least on my eyes. I can't say that for the complexion, but on my eyes I used one eyeshadow, one eyeliner, mascara, and I'm good to go. I can wear this eye look day or night, no problem, not thinking twice about it. And I really think the lips kind of tie the whole thing together, makes it look a little bit more romantic. But let's recap my top picks of what I think is worth checking out from this brand. All right, so my top picks are the bronzer, the Sun Glow Bronzing Gel Powder. One day I'll remember what this is called. This is a Baked Gelée formula. It's got a lot of sheen to it, although it does come in one color. I think the color of this is really natural. It's just a beautiful bronzer. It's pricey, but I do think It's one of those Sisley makeup products that really should be a part of everyone's collection if the bronzer color works for you. The lip products from Sisley, I think, are definitely worth picking up. Phyto Rouge Shine Formula. It's new, it's spectacular. The Phyto Rouge lipsticks. They have a lot of different colors, nuanced, rose portofino, I really love. This is one of my favorite lipstick formulas. It's a classic creamy lipstick. It's not matte, it's comfortable. I think it's really pretty. The packaging, absolutely stunning. The lip liners from Sisley are also, I don't know if people know about them. The Phyto Lever's Perfect, but they are a stunning formula. I wish they had more shades, but they feel really good. They're long lasting. They don't disappear. They're pretty perfect. My runner-up product, the foundation. I think foundation's obviously very personal. Depends on your skin type and a number of factors if it's gonna work for you. This personally, I don't think is worth the money. It doesn't work for me that well. It's not like perfecting my skin enough for me to believe that it's worth it. But it does have a lot of good skincare, and I think Sisley is first and foremost, like an excellent skincare brand more than anything else. So if you are wanting like a souped up skincare boosting foundation, this might be a good option for you. I just noticed that it's one of those that I would really have to make sure I set my face and also really pay attention to this area to make sure it's not looking cakey or not giving me enough coverage, because this area I found that this foundation did not really perfect it that well. But it's not a bad foundation. I think it's might be worth trying for you especially if you like a good amount of moisture. It's kind of one of those thicker lotiony type of foundations. This might be worth checking out. And if you are super oily, probably not for you, but if you are drier, you might be a fan of this one. So just wanted to comment on that. The rest of the products on my face, although they are pretty, I think you can find alternatives for a less expensive price. But I do have some core pieces from Sisley's makeup collection that I am missing. So if you guys are interested in the concealer, for example, or some of the blush or lip products that you want me to try, please comment below. I will say I didn't realize that people have some stereotypes about this brand, and sometimes people think about this brand in a certain way that I wasn't aware of, and they think of Sisley as a old woman brand or a brand for older aging skin. I didn't really think of Sisley in that way. I just thought of it as a luxury brand that is super expensive, but I don't really see makeup in terms of age. But to me, it's just about good quality performing products, and that shouldn't matter like who it's made for or who's gonna buy it. I think skincare and makeup should work on all ages of skin. So I think it's interesting that people think of it that way, but I think the products are really nice overall, and they're worth checking out if you have the means and you have the desire to buy things in this price range. But I agree, it's one of those top tier brands. I wish I had all the money in the world to buy all the skincare. They do have hair care products now, body care. They really have everything. And fragrance. So it's one of those like all-encompassing beauty brands. If you guys have any questions, please comment below. If you like this video, click the thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.